Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Total War, The Last Roman, and History. In the last episode, I mentioned the cool Roman-themed submod I'm going to be using for this campaign, but I didn't state its name, which is Renovatio Imperii, and you can get it on the Steam Workshop. Also, with regards to the upload schedule, because of all the work involved in collating all this history and presenting it to you, these episodes are going to be updated a bit less frequently than my typical series. I apologize for that, but please understand, I will get them out as soon as I can. And finally, I am going to kick the difficulty up to hard. I am not by any stretch an expert Total War player, but this should add a little bit of challenge and just make our campaign that much more exciting. So let's get started and watch the intro. That's the Hippodrome of Constantinople.
I couldn't think of a finer man for the task. Retake the former Western Roman Empire from the barbarians. Deliver it to our beloved emperor on a plate. These games should be in your honor. When I heard Justinian had you in mind, I can't say I was surprised. After all, you were his uncle's favorite bodyguard.
His uncle was the Emperor Justin, the previous emperor.
Not to mention your accomplishments at the Battle of Dara. And the way you suppressed the riots in Nika. You are the last of the great commanders, and your loyalty is clearly above question. However, the ruins of Rome are a wild and unpredictable place. A lot can happen out of reach of these fragrant walls. A man might look about him and think perhaps that it is all rightfully his. Good luck, Belisarius.
The Emperor Justinian has grand plans for the Empire. From his seat at Constantinople, he plans to reclaim those western territories lost to barbarism for the glory of Rome. However, presently it's no more than a vision. What Justinian really needs is a general to command his army. The type of man who hasn't been seen since the time of Caesar and Augustus. In Belisarius, Justinian has found this man. The key to this grand plan is control of the Mediterranean Sea to secure supply and trade routes, which will ensure the army is kept and the dream of a restored united empire maintained. However, the Vandal fleet is too powerful to attack head-on. Control of northern Africa must be decided on the battlefield before any hope of taking Rome can be entertained. Once Africa has been recovered, we must turn our attention to the Ostrogothic usurpers who rule Italy. Great glory awaits he who delivers Rome into Roman hands once again.
Alright, so the first mission we have is to survive until the spring of 535, and that'll give us 2,000 gold. Now, I liked how that intro video kind of gave us a hint of the political machinations that the Eastern Roman Empire is so well known for, sometimes almost infamous for. But again, we are going to play it straight. We're going to be loyal, just like Belisarius was historically. It's also worth noting that this game does not start at the beginning of Belisarius' career. At this point, by the time he's landing in North Africa, he has already, as the intro video stated, fought a war in Persia and suppressed the Nika revolts in Constantinople, which we're going to talk about in later episodes. But with regards to gameplay, let's get started. What do we got here? We have Belisarius himself, along with a unit of troops. We have the brave companions, led by John the Armenian, and we have Lucinus of Amisos, who is a spy. So one thing I've noticed about the Radius mod is it causes the AI player to be a lot more cautious. What that means is the AI player will not typically attack unless they are absolutely certain of victory. This makes recording a series of this type kind of difficult because either we'll play out a battle that we're destined to lose, or the enemy will run away from us if we try to fight a battle on advantageous terms. What that does is it leads to a lot of automatic battle resolution instead of manual battle resolution. But I'm going to try to play out the battles as much as I can to give us time to discuss the history and also to show off the really cool units and battles. Let's move our spy up here, just to see where the Vandals are at this particular time. Now already, put yourselves in the shoes of a member of this Roman expedition under Belisarius. Think about it like this. You have probably never left your homeland, be it Anatolia, Greece, most likely Dalmatia, this area here. That's where a lot of the soldiers of this time period came from, including the Emperor Justin and the Emperor Justinian. And you've probably never been on the ocean before. So here you are, bundled up into these boats, this huge navy that delivers you to a place you've never been, desert. You've probably never seen a desert in your life. I'm sure some of these soldiers are from the east where there are deserts, but again, a completely unfamiliar land, and you're away from your family, and you're a Roman soldier, so you're really not getting paid all that much. And just imagine what it's like. Imagine how much potential anxiety and rebellion there is in this group, and how Belisarius must have constantly been thinking of ways to keep them on path, not only to not mutiny or disperse, but also to follow his orders directly and do what he wants. Again, we're facing a very dangerous foe who's established, who has control of this area. We are the usurpers in this sense, where we're not familiar with the area. We just landed. And just imagine all that would do to people.
Commander?
As far as research, if you're going to be staying loyal, you're mostly going to be focusing on the military research because you're a horde. And there's not a lot of civic improvements that you're going to be needing because you're not going to necessarily be occupying any cities. You're simply going to be capturing them for the Eastern Romans and then moving on. So we're going to focus most of our research on the military aspects, including military provisions. All right. So we're going to strike fast here. What I've noticed is it's better to keep your two armies close together, even though they do have a negative effect on each other. As you can see here, rivalry, which lowers food consumption, raises food consumption and lowers wealth. But again, in order to defeat the Vandals, that's something that you really have to consider. However, right at this beginning, we have two undefended villages within striking distance, and let's get them as soon as we possibly can.
Let them cower like kennelled dogs!
And we're going to go ahead and just auto-resolve this. This is quick. And we're going to reclaim it.
We hunger for battle.
And good, that'll give
Ready for
Belisarius here a little level up. His skill is Taskmaster, which improves the integrity of his troops. That's pretty good. You can see here Antonina has an effect. She increases his personal influence, and this is pretty much useless, but she increases the public order of Belisarius if he's ever a governor, which he'll never be. So let's give him some authority. And let's make his troops a bit better defended. That's useful. Alright, and now that we've taken this village for Belisarius, let's go into our encamp stance and recruit some units. So all the units that you start out with are the units that are the natural vanilla units, but the ones that are added in the mod are these Voluntari, which look very cool, medium spear infantry. You've got the numerous Faranitai. You've got the Limitane Lycocranitai. And again, I apologize if my pronunciations of the Greek aren't very good. Then you have Slavic Axe Auxilia, the Sokiai Slavi, I guess. And you also have, I think this is from the mod, Hun Federates. I'm not entirely sure. They might have been part of the original game, but I think that's the Federate horse archers. Now, a lot of Huns actually came to North Africa with Belisarius. They're a particular group called the Huruli, I believe. And they were actually kind of rambunctious compared to the rest of the troops anyways. There were a couple times where Belisarius had to discipline them. But what we're going to do, let's see, who are we going to get here? So these are heavy melee infantry. These are medium spear. So the ones we start with are the Limitane, the Exploradores, and the Federati. Now the Federati are supposed to be the offensive units. The Limitane are the spear defensive units. The Voluntari also have spear. So let's compare them here. So they're a little bit better at melee defense, but otherwise pretty much identical, as you can see here. They have a little bit better armor, I think, too. 40 to 50 armor. Actually, they have less melee defense. But we're going to get a couple of those.
Are you ready to serve?
Just to fill out our ranks here. And maybe some numerous
Fight with us.
Faratinai. I'm doing this totally wrong here. Numerous Faranitai. There we go. Alright, and now John the Armenian is just going to chill. And let's see, we're doing okay with money. One of the things about being a horde is managing your money effectively, and that's something we're going to have to continue doing. Now, because John doesn't have the right buildings, he has a much limited troop recruitment pool. But we'll get him a couple more Limitane. How many can we recruit? 4. How about... There we go. Now, one thing I want to talk about in this episode is the term used by this game and others to refer to Belisarius, that being the last Roman. Okay, this is just some history that we're actually going to go over later, but essentially when the Romans landed in North Africa, the king of the Vandals, Hilderic, was executed by the, I think his nephew, Gelimer, who was the new king. Okay, so the brave companions are going to get back up, and they're going to march on Supatula.
Siege to the settlement.
We're going to take that and reclaim it. Excellent. So now John also is going to be gaining a level, and he has the exact same skill as Belisarius. Great. Let's give him some integrity, and also let's give him some melee defense for his infantry. This would actually give melee defense for the entire force. So that's actually probably a better deal. Alright, now that we've done this, though, we need to put our armies together, because the Vandals are around, and they outnumber us substantially. That's what our spy is here to do, is trying to find out where they are, and if we do find them, to slow them down a little bit. And Hadrimentum here is a walled city.
At your command.
So we're actually... We could make it all the way to Hadrimentum, and I don't see any Vandals currently, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to move up there with Belisarius' army.
Laying siege to the settlement.
Okay, there's a Vandal navy. Fire and steel.
Let them cower like kennel dogs.
Alright, and we're going to build some rudimentary siege equipment. I guess some ladders. And we're just going to continue the siege
None will escape.
and wait for John to come and aid us. So I kind of take issue with the term the last Roman. It's been used to describe a lot of people. Some of them you know, many you don't. It's become kind of like the word awesome, right? What used to describe something that generated overwhelming awe and terror is now more frequently used to describe a decent lunch. And when everything is awesome, nothing is, you know? And I feel the same way about the word, or the phrase, the last Roman.
Next command.
Alright, what's going on? Okay, we're going to take us another turn to make it all the way up to him. Let's see if we can't force march a little bit closer. We can be close enough to... No, we're not. But that's okay. We'll just wait one more turn here. And here come the Vandals. So aside from Belisarius, other people referred to as quote-unquote the last Roman include Justinian, the emperor who was the emperor right at this moment, the Emperor Valens, who died in battle versus the Visigoths at the Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD, all three powerful 5th century Western Roman generals, that includes Stilicho, Boniface, and Aetius, Romulus Augustulus, who was the last actual Western Roman emperor before he was deposed by Odoacer, and also Baldwin II, who was the last Latin emperor of Constantinople, and the Roman Emperor Constantine XI, who was the literal last Eastern Roman emperor, and finally even Brutus, who betrayed and assisted with the assassination of Julius Caesar, has been called the last Roman, and he was alive all the way back in 44 BC.
Ready for battle. I am yours to command. Swift.
So Carthage really isn't defended by much. There's an army right here in Hippo. I don't know how this place is actually pronounced, but I like to refer to it as Hippo Diarrhea, just because I think the name is so silly, but it's more like Hippo Diarrhetus. But there's actually a pretty substantial army there. The Heralds of Death, led by Amatas. But where's Gelimer? Here we have a pretty beaten down navy. Oh, there he is. There's Gelimer, and he's actually hanging out within Hadrumetum. This is a great opportunity for us to take him down.
Ready for orders.
Let's get you... Well, we can't get him out of his stance, but can we... What is the balance of power here? Two navies, wow. I mean, it is in favor of us. I'm actually just going to auto-resolve it. Let's see. Missile superiority. We have 2. They have more. We're going to go aggressive. Now, I just really hate siege battles when you're the attacker, but obviously as the series goes on, I'm going to have to fight some of them out because that gives me a great time to talk about the history, and otherwise we're going to be auto-resolving every battle because the enemy's not really going to come out and engage us in a lot of open field battles. So I'll be doing that. Okay, Belisarius' army, who is known as the Watchmen, they've gained a level, so we're going to give... Okay, integrity and own or allied. That's useful simply because we have a lot of that. And then replenishment. Let's do one of each. Integrity in foreign territory is also a good one for this group since they're a horde. So would this be... Is there anything that gives us... I mean, I guess we want to get down to Defenders of Virtue. It's probably a good place to go. Alright, so now Hadrumetum, the walled city of Hadrumetum, belongs to the Eastern Roman Empire once again. So with regards to, again, the last Roman, there currently are 2.6 million people alive right now that can be considered Romans. That is, people who are living within the city of Rome. Now, I'm not blind to what people mean when they use the term the last Roman. What they're really saying is, here is an individual whose beliefs and values and actions represent what I, the speaker, who's referring to whomever as the last Roman, believes are the quintessential Roman qualities, right? The last holder of true Roman values. But everyone has a different definition of that. So, in that sense, the term is officially meaningless. Belisarius was not the last Roman, nor was Justinian, or any of those other names we just mentioned. He was, however, a loyal, talented, and a little bit lucky general who achieved a territorial expansion of the Roman Empire whose like was never seen again. And we'll talk more about that in the next episode. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Marcus Aurelius. This is Total War, the last Roman in history. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.